The power of starting small. Your future doesn't need a perfect beginning. Let me start with a truth many of us try to avoid. Most dreams fail because they reach too big. They fail because we're too afraid to start small. We live in a world that celebrates the finish line but rarely talks about the starting block. A world that claps for the final success but stays silent during the initial struggle. It's a world that makes beginning look so easy, so effortless, when in reality, it's often the single hardest step you'll ever take. But today, I want to remind you of something powerful. Small beginnings are not a sign of weakness. They are the birthplace of greatness. Think about it. Every powerful tree you've ever seen began as a tiny seed, hidden deep in the soil, completely unnoticed. Every towering skyscraper that scrapes the sky started with a single, silent brick laid on the ground. Every multi-million-dollar business that we admire today started with just one idea. Maybe an idea that nobody else believed in. Every legend you've ever read about began as a nobody, armed with nothing but a dream and a tiny spark of courage. And the exact same is true for you. You don't need to start big. You don't need to have everything figured out from day one. You don't need the perfect moment, the perfect setup, or perfect, unwavering confidence. All you need is the willingness to begin right where you are, with exactly what you have. Because here is the liberating truth. Greatness doesn't require perfection. It only requires motion. But so many of us get stuck. We tell ourselves we're just being patient. We're being strategic. But the real, painful truth is that most people never start because they're waiting for more money to come in. Waiting for a burst of motivation to strike like lightning. Waiting for the ever-elusive right time. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting for someone else's approval. For someone to give them the green light. Waiting to feel confident enough to take that first step. But let me tell you something. Honest and raw. The longer you wait, the heavier your dreams become. With every passing day, fear grows. Doubt grows. Excuses grow. And worst of all, regret grows. You might think you're protecting yourself from failure by delaying, but you're actually just hurting yourself, starving your own potential. I've seen it happen. There are people who waited so long to start their dream that they ended up watching someone else do the very thing they were meant to do. Don't let that be your story. Don't live a life of what-ifs. Let me tell you another real-life truth. It's not the giant, heroic leaps that will transform your life. It's the consistent, small, almost invisible steps you take every single day. Small steps create momentum. It's like pushing a heavy ball. It's hard at first, but once it starts rolling, it hits easy. And that momentum creates confidence. When you see yourself making even a tiny bit of progress, you start to believe you can do more. That newfound confidence creates discipline. You start showing up for yourself, not because you feel like it, but because you've proven to yourself that it's worth it. And that discipline creates results. Real, tangible results. And those results create a complete transformation. You don't need to climb the entire mountain today. Just take one step. Write one sentence. Make one phone call. And tomorrow, just take another step. And the day after that, take another. If you keep moving, even if it feels agonizingly slow, you will eventually land exactly where you dream of being. Your only job is to not stand still. Think about anyone you admire. A successful business owner, a brilliant creator, a wise teacher, a powerful leader. I guarantee you, before they were inspiring, they were invisible. Before they were considered experts, they were absolute beginners, fumbling and making mistakes. Before they were confident, they were terrified. Before they were celebrated by the world, they were doubted, maybe even by the people closest to them. Before they were called great, they were simply someone who decided to start. Nobody ever talks about the messy, awkward, clumsy beginning. But that beginning is what made everything else possible. Some people get stuck because they're waiting for validation. They're waiting for someone, anyone, to come along and say, okay, now is the time. You have my permission. I believe in you. But I need you to listen closely to this. Nobody is coming to give you permission to live your own life. Your life will not change one bit until you decide to begin. People might laugh at your small start. Let them laugh, because one day, when you've built something incredible, they'll be the first ones to clap. People might doubt your early steps. They might question your vision. Let them doubt. Because one day, they'll be the ones asking you, how did you do it? Nobody respects the beginning. It's not glamorous. It's not impressive. But everyone, absolutely everyone, respects the persistence. Maybe you're sitting there right now thinking, but I don't have much. I feel so unprepared. My resources are limited. My environment makes it so hard to even dream, let alone act. Primera, EARU. But here's the incredible truth. Some of the greatest, most inspiring stories in history came from people who started with almost nothing. They didn't have the funding, the connections, or the perfect plan. But what they did have was something far more powerful. They had a reason, a why that burned inside them. They had a dream that they couldn't ignore. They had a tiny spark of hope. And they had a little bit of courage to fan that spark into a flame. You don't need a full toolbox to begin building your future. You just need a hammer and a vision. Use what you have, and the rest will come. So, the real question is this. If you don't start now, when? Next month? Next year? When you're older? When life finally gets easier? Here's something nobody likes to admit. Life rarely gets easier. Things will always come up. Challenges will always appear, but you get stronger when you start moving. You build resilience. You learn to adapt. You become the person who can handle the challenges that life throws at you. So here is the final message, and I really want you to feel this in your heart. One day, that small beginning you're so scared to make right now will be the story you tell that inspires someone else to chase their own dream. One day, the tiny, insignificant seed you plant today will grow into a forest that gives shelter to others. And one day, I promise you, you will look back and say, I'm so glad I started with nothing, because that's how I learned I could become anything. Your future is waiting for you. Your dreams are waiting for you. Your life-changing moment isn't some distant event that will happen to you. It's a decision you make right now, and all it takes is the courage to start small. Thank you. Thank you.